what is going on with Marvel Rivals right now, and why is it so important for the entire gaming community at large? Welcome back, everyone. This is something that I have been hearing everywhere pop up, and I felt that it was important for me to come and discuss it because there are some elements of it that I think just haven't been exactly touched on, but I do think that it's important to talk about gaming at large when we talk about why sometimes things like this can happen and understanding that, as opposed to just blanketly blaming one whole group of the gaming sphere. But before we get into all of that, what exactly am I talking about here? Basically, what ended up happening was there was a Marvel Rivals creator who primarily does Marvel Rivals content, as I understand it, named Kingsman, and he was on a team with some other players, Cece and Zaza, primarily being the two, but there's also a girl named Lucy, and they were preparing to play in a tournament where the total prize money, I believe, was $40,000. I think for first place, you got $18,000 for your team, and so if you split that up, everybody would get $3,000 on the team. So that was the idea. They were doing practice matches against other teams, doing these little scrims to just see what the team dynamic was like, to see, if the build worked, and to practice playing together. And it was during these practice matches, the Kingsmen brought up a good point of the fact that they were playing with Zaza, who used to play, I believe, Overwatch and played Widowmaker in Overwatch, and so moved over to Black Widow. Black Widow, if you have played Marvel Rivals, like myself, you might know that as much as I love Natasha in the comics and in the MCU, she's kind of one of the worst characters in the game. And so what Kingsman was saying was he didn't make any comments on Zaza's ability to play the game. He wasn't insulting her specifically, but he was just saying, this doesn't work. Us playing with Black Widow on our team doesn't work. We need to change something up here. But everyone did not want to hear his criticism on this team. Well, specifically, Cece didn't want to hear his criticism on this team, and she shuts him down. And I've seen some clips, and he's just giving criticism. It isn't a personal insult to anyone on the team or their ability. But I was surprised because some of these stats looked pretty rough. I mean, in the one match that they show with Black Widow where Kingsman is saying, see, this is what I'm talking about. We need to do something different. Widow isn't a good character for our team right now. We need to try to change something up. Widow got 5 deaths, 0 kills, 0 assists. I don't play comp and I don't really play ranked. I'm the first one to admit I'm bronze 3 or bronze 4, whatever it is, because I never play ranked in Rivals. I'm just not interested in that experience personally. And yet, even I was looking at that I'm sorry, these are the people that are playing in a $40,000 tournament? Maybe I could play comp if I wanted. Maybe I'm not as hopeless as I thought. And I know it's just a practice match, and I know it's not, and it's one match. So I haven't seen everything that they've ever done. Maybe they're amazing in a different match, and it was just a rough day for some of them. But really, the only one that seemed to actually be pulling his weight, based even on the stats, was Kingsman. And he was told to drop it, to basically shut up, and that Black Widow was, I don't know, dying to save the team. I don't really understand that logic. I don't really understand the logic of, if you're gonna play in a tournament for $40,000, why you wouldn't want to try to win the tournament where you can win $18K for your team, $3K a piece. That's a lot of money. And that's also what Kingsman said when his team pushed back against him. He said, this is a big tournament for me. This is a lot of money. I'm in college and this money would be really helpful to me. And how did everyone respond to that on his team? By making fun of him for being in college and needing money, which I don't really understand that logic. But yeah, they were basically making fun of him and essentially calling him a brokey, that he needs money for college. Oh, I need money for college. Also, what even kind of making fun of people is that? Anyone that has gone to college knows you need money to go to college, and it's a very expensive endeavor. So it doesn't feel silly for someone to be saying that, and for someone to be hoping to actually try at a tournament so that they might, I don't know, win the tournament. Who are these people that play competitive matches but that don't want to compete. I don't really understand. But anyways, he got shut down by the team captain, and eventually everyone else turned on him too. And I have also heard that Lucy, who they were playing with, Kingsman and Lucy apparently used to be friends, or they were friends before any of this happened. They used to play duos together in Rivals, but eventually, through the course of all this drama, even Lucy turned on him, so it just all really sucked. And it ultimately resulted in him being kicked from the team and kicked from the tournament when Zaza, her boyfriend, actually put together a Google Doc to share with the organizer of the tournament to say, you know, this guy's toxic and he needs to be removed. And so not only did they just quietly remove him from the team, but they got him kicked out of the entire tournament, which is pretty cold, especially when it didn't seem like he was doing anything wrong. Now, fortunately, since then, the truth has come out, and Kingsman actually released a video that is over an hour long. So I'm going to be real, I didn't watch over an hour long, but it has all of the matches. It has tons of evidence in it to showcase why this happened, why he was kicked out of the tournament, and sort of how it got to that point. And Kingsman apparently did say in his Discord that he also didn't want anyone to go after these people, because once this news broke, everyone was seeking to destroy the other people who had bullied Kingsman on the team. He actually took to his Discord and asked people in the mods to make sure that, you know, they weren't necessarily attacking anyone. He didn't want anything like that to be happening. He just wanted, I think, to say his piece and to show what had happened to him and for the truth to be known. But I don't think he necessarily wished for any of these people to be damaged to the point that, you know, they are completely kicked out of the streaming community or anything like that. This honestly feels so high school, the way the drama all played out. And I thought about going and clipping all the quotes and sharing them with you guys here to give you the full story, but you can find all of that out there if you really want to. And I personally don't feel it's necessary to understand the through line, because it is also so high school, some of the stuff people are saying. This whole thing just feels so insane to me that this is also the drama that we're talking about and that is shaking up the entire gaming world, because it's just so silly that they even did this to Kingsman. It doesn't really make sense to me. The good news is, in terms of Kingsman's side of the story, Kingsman actually did recently make partner on Twitch, so good for him. And he also had a stream where, because he was kicked out of this tournament and he shared his experience as to why that happened, people rallied around him. And while some of those people might be rallying for, I would say, some of the wrong reasons, there are a lot of people that are just wanting to show him support after he underwent being bullied by this team, and they just want to show him that they understand what it's like to be a broke college student and stand with him and don't think that people should be bullied in games, which I think is a beautiful message at its core anyways. And so he received, I think it was well over even the prize money that he would have made in one stream. I've heard that it was 3,000. I've heard it was up to 10,000. So if it was 3,000, he made that money back. But I think he made more than that in one stream, which is absolutely insane. And I'm sure is huge money for him as a college student. So the positive side of it is he was able to speak his truth. And as a result of that, people came out of the woodwork to support him, which is cool. Also, the organizer of the tournament that made the call to kick him out based on the doc that was presented has even gone back on what he said initially and said he was wrong to make such a rash decision and to have jumped to this conclusion without fully looking into it. And he has offered an apology to be I should have never done that. I would like to own up to my mistake, which I also think is great. But the downside is that the other players on the team don't seem to have had quite the same change of heart. And while CC has offered a few apologies, they feel like they are not super sincere. And in fact, in one of her apologies, she also exclaimed that she was having a panic attack after everything blew up, and she woke up the next morning to all of these notifications and just freaked out and took to her Discord to, I believe, say that Kingsman didn't have any social skills because he was a gamer who had never been outside, and he'd been inside for 20 years of his life just playing games, which is also a weird thing to say when you yourself are a gamer, because to be like, oh, what a loser who's a gamer. It's like, well, you're a gamer too. So are you a loser? Are you? I don't think so. Also, to then blame that on a panic attack and say, I just started having them and then this was my reaction. I'm going to tell you, as someone that has had panic attacks before and deals with anxiety and has been that way my whole life, I don't necessarily want to say that it isn't true that she might have not been going through a panic attack at that moment, but to blame your bad behavior on that is not an excuse. And I really hate that there are people that will use mental health or a neurodivergence to leverage bad behavior, to basically say like, oh, well, I'm only behaving this way because, I'm going through something. So that's why I'm being bad. And I acknowledge that it's not good. And I'm going to work on it. And I'm like, no, you don't have to be a bad person because you're dealing with some kind of neurodivergence or anxiety or a panic attack. It doesn't turn you into a bad person that talks behind someone's back about them. That's not a thing. For me, I also feel like this is a huge blow because already as a woman that plays video games, I can't tell you how many times I have literally been told while playing something that I can't play this game because I'm a woman, so I can't play video games. Get back in the kitchen, woman. What are you doing playing the video games? And over the years, this has gotten better. It was a huge reason why, when I was younger, I would never play games online because people could always tell from my voice and would immediately harass and bully me. And to this day, I have been wary of playing games online and people hearing my voice and judging me based on how I sound. And I already deal with it as a streamer. I've literally opened myself up to layers of, being harassed and being bullied online. By being online, it has gotten better in recent years. I have seen a change in attitude, but then I also see some people that come in that are younger, that are kids, that are watching streaming, and I am surprised sometimes at how toxic they are towards women that play games. It is very disturbing, I cannot deny. There was a Reddit post that I saw on Rivals that I thought was really well put together, and it was by this user named Alternate Babby, or Baby, maybe with an A. I like Babby, so I'm gonna go with Babby. And I think that this speaks volumes to the issue at large in terms of how it impacts gaming. She says, as a girl gamer, the Kingsman drama hurts. To be clear, I 1000% agree with Kingsman. I do not believe this set woman back or anything. It just hurts to see women in a male-dominated setting have a voice and mess it up so bad. Imagine if they actually had empathy and decided to lock in to help him out. There could have been so much positivity even if they didn't get the top 3. Oh, and to just say this as well. By the way, in case you're wondering how they did in the tournament after they removed Kingsman and said, we're not going to change anything. We're just here for vibes. They placed 7th out of 8th. So yeah, sounds like maybe they should have listened to Kingsman. Though it's not everyone. Everywhere you see people talking about the situation somewhere in there, it's women can't handle criticism. Women are, etc. This is why so many women do not try to go pro and play competitive games like this. Women like me who have been playing old COD, playing in competitive lobbies for years, and understand this is just part of the nature of the game, but to never become it. Kingsman was way more reasonable than I or any of my old COD friends would have been. Like, what do you mean I'm hurting her feelings? It's true. In competitive gaming, people are pretty intense. This is part of the reason why I don't play competitive gaming, but it's also because of the other thing, which is what this poster is talking about. The idea that so many women don't go pro because there's so much criticism surrounding women in general already in gaming. Also, Cece has never had a panic attack in her life, clearly. These girls just said, F that, how can I relive my teen years and be as uncompromising and obnoxious as possible? This guy is a college student. Even just 1K is a lot of money. As someone who works and goes to school and does nails for a living, I understand. Becoming a streamer is something I wanted to do for a while, but honestly, it gets so toxic to where I don't even think I'd enjoy it in the long run. Honestly, girl, you should be a streamer. You could do it. I believe in you. Like Cece, you may not be the event organizer, but as captain, it was so easy to talk to Bassam and let him know to switch King out. She just didn't care enough. Cece and Zaza are not the baseline of girl gamers. That is so true. And I don't think that this has set us back 10 years or anything, but it just echoes some of the conversation that is already going on. It just brings it more to the surface. And we don't need that right now at a time where we are seeing things shift. We are seeing women, I think, become more accepted, but there still is that resistance and you still encounter it. But I would say in Rivals, for the most part, from what I've experienced playing Rivals, I don't find it to be super toxic towards me as a woman. I find most people are pretty chill. There are some people that come in that want to get like really competitive. And then when I'm like, oh, I'm chilling. Like I just play a lot of quick match and I play, the arcade modes and the other modes. I don't really do ranked because that's just not really what I enjoy. But that's cool if that's what you enjoy and you're still welcome in my community. Some of those people just want to fight me for some reason. So that does still happen, but it's very rare. I find it doesn't happen super often in my experience. So we've made all this progress. And then when something like this happens, it just hurts because it's like a thorn in the side of, why can't we all just be nice to each other? Why can't we it's a game. It's just a game. Have fun. For goodness sakes, have fun. And if you're playing a competitive game, play to compete. Have a good time. But if you're playing for money, you would want to try to win. Yeah. Specifically, that is why I don't play for money. So I feel that hopefully something we can take away from this is that we can all just be a little bit kinder to each other, because the backlash as well that now these women are getting and, the organizer was getting, who had to look at all of this and made a decision and admits they made the wrong call, is not necessarily fair. I do think they should have to atone, but the level of harassment that people get when things blow up on the internet, I don't think really anyone deserves that. I just feel that we should all try to be as kind as we can to each other and just not go out of our way to hate on people just to hate. It doesn't help anyone. Offer support to those who need it, but don't try to destroy someone's life. I just wish gaming wasn't so toxic sometimes. It is toxic and it sucks because I just like to play games and have a good time. And when you hear this happening to someone and them being bullied, what happened to Kingsman was unacceptable. And I hope that we can at least learn a lesson from this and all listen to each other a little bit more and be supportive of one another as teammates in games and just in the world at large. Because in 2026, we need that. That's all I have for this one. I hope that you enjoyed this video, and hopefully there is a little spark that you're taking with you of kindness that you can spread to someone else today. I'm glad that it turned out at least to be a silver lining for Kingsman and that he is doing well. And I will still be playing Marvel Rivals. So if you enjoy Rivals content, I do that here usually every Monday during the day on this channel over on the live tab and over on Twitch at twitch.tv/Vambex13. I am currently trying to make partner right now. So if you even see me on and just want to lurk for a bit or pop in, all views are really appreciated. And I want to say thank you so much for everyone who has already supported me on my journey towards becoming Twitch partner. Hopefully this year that will become a reality for me and I can be partnered both on YouTube and on Twitch. That would be really cool. That's all I have. I'll see you guys in the next one. Thank you so much for taking the time out of your day to watch this video. And until next time, friends, stay nerdy and be kind to each other, please. Bye.